Good evening. It's well 6 p.m. March the 30th, I guess, today. And I haven't been on here for a while, so I've got a couple things I can tell you about. The March the 17th, I think it was March 17th, my wife died. And after being locked down and suffering for a year in a care facility, just terrible suffering. And I just couldn't believe the suffering she was going through. And mercifully, it ended. That's a tough thing to say, but my gosh, I mean, no one should have to suffer like that. Anyway, in the last while, I've been in and out of the hospital a bit. Tests and CT scans and all kinds of stuff. I was in Kelowna General Hospital for surgery for aneurism, 2 aneurysms, they told me. I found out now that it was 3. Anyway, I've got to go in for another CT scan. They want me to have another CT scan and then talk to the thoracic surgeon. So that's coming up pretty soon. So it'll be interesting to see what he says. I was only in for one night, I guess. I came in, I had the operation, I stayed overnight, and left the next day. And I was pretty shaky when I come out of there. It's taken me, I don't know, up till now to practically get any strength back. And yet everything was done internally. I ended up with such a severe back pain that I couldn't believe it. But I understand that could be a side effect of something like that. Yeah, I'm not looking forward to any more hospital things. I mean, I never knew I had these things. They just happened to find them. And one was very bad. Could have blown, I guess. It was, I think, 5 centimeters. So I guess in one way it's kind of lucky. I got in there, got it done. So we'll see. I hope I get some strength back. And I've booked 2 cruises in November and in December. And I don't know if I'm going to be able to go or not. I'll have to see how I feel then. I hope I feel all right. I would like to do that. I think that's most likely will be the end of my traveling like that. Pretty well, as far as I can tell. I have to fly down to Fort Lauderdale and back to San Diego and Fort Lauderdale for a 2-week cruise in the Caribbean. And then fly to San Diego for a 1-week Mexican cruise. So I guess that would be a pretty good way to top off the last traveling bit, sort of. International traveling, anyway. So, it's coming up now. I'll be 87 in 22 days, 23 days, I guess. So, pushing the envelope. Yeah. It's, huh, I'm still going out to Desert Cove just about well, so far every day practically. And we're finishing off subdivision there. I was out today, getting ready to get a hydro approval. Main gas lines are going in on the 12th. Pavement on the 15th. This was all built in the wintertime. And, I've never seen that built in the wintertime like that, the kind of winter we had, because we only had 5 days of winter. They weren't doing anything then. Yeah, it's pretty amazing what goes on. They came here to the apartment building I'm living in. We've got a big lounge area, lounge room down here, and they came in and give everybody a shot of Pfizer vaccine for the COVID-19. That was a few days ago. But I see they're still screaming about wearing masks. You gotta wear a mask every time I go in someplace. Still have to. So tired, sick and tired of this crap. Oh, I imagine so is everybody else. But, I mean, I'm hoping that it's going to come to an end. I mean, there's nothing to guarantee that, but they had a service for my wife, and they only allowed, I think it was 8 or 9 people to go there. I wasn't there. And they had it on the internet, on what do you call it? Direct deal, screen deal, preview deal, and then, oh man, these words bother me. Well, anyway, I tuned into it and watched it, but the sound was so low I couldn't hear what they were saying. That's too bad. It didn't last very long. Well, we had a little over half an hour. And then they went to Jill and Pat's and had lunch, courtesy of Betty Hulskog, who made it and delivered it. Yeah, she does a lot of things for people. Yeah, busy woman. So, not really too many exciting things happening. A couple of things I guess got to look at, but yeah, it's Ross came over here last night. I told him, I said I needed my bed lifted. The front of the bed lifted up 3-4 inches. Okay, I said I can't really lay flat anymore. I got hiatus hernia, and I think it'd be a lot better if I had a little slope in the bed. I raised it up 3.5 inches or something, and then that's enough. I think that's enough. Otherwise, I'd start sliding out. But it made it. Yeah, I think it's better anyway. It seemed to be. Kind of makes sense, I guess, to have your head and shoulders up a little higher than your stomach when you're laying down. At least for me, I don't think there's anything I can do about this hiatus hernia thing. Just a bad deal. I'm waiting for the weather to warm up. I love when the weather warms up and gets sunny and warm and stuff starts growing. I guess I'll go buy some more flowers and hang them up here. I usually have the best flowers in the place here. So I guess I'll do it one more year. It usually costs me over $100 to get these right hanging baskets. But they do look good. They make visual memories that disappear. You can't take them with you. You can only look at them at the time. You can take pictures of them, I guess. That's the thing that's sort of making, I'm thinking about all the time. About how, I mean, going on trips and everything else, you know. It's fine to go, I guess, and look around at things, but for what reason? I'm not going to take it with me, ever. And I know that everything I'm looking at is temporary, never going to last, it's going to be gone. God said he's going to create a new heaven and a new earth. I believe him. I don't believe the people who want to save the planet, do blah, 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 blah. They're going to save the planet. Yeah. God says no, he's going to change it. I believe that he has a much better say in things than all these politicians and people who are basically atheist type people, I guess. And to me, that's pretty sad when they do that. I much rather believe that God is going to create a new heaven and new earth for people who believe in him, believe in Jesus. That's what it says. If you believe in Jesus, you're not condemned. And you'll be able to live in an eternal body in a new earth. Totally new earth in his kingdom. I guess in his city. I guess you would know about that. 1,500 miles square, 1,500 miles high. Will be coming down on this planet in the future. Yes, there will be no physical people, I guess. I don't think so. There'll be a lot of spiritual bodies. So I guess the whole deal may be different. I've heard people say that you couldn't have a city 1,500 miles high with gravity. There would have to be no gravity. And I don't know if you would need gravity if there was no physical beings on the planet. They wouldn't have to be held onto the surface. I have no idea. That's one way above my pay grade. I find it very hard that people reject and say they don't believe that Jesus existed, that God sent him into this world. The Bible said he was condemned before the foundations of this world. He was slain. The Lamb was slain before the foundations of this world. And he came in and called himself the Lamb of God. Takes away the sin of the world. I have no problem not believing that. I believe that totally. And to me, it's very funny how God decides out of all people who have been born on this planet, it's most likely close to 75 to 80 billion or something like that, I would imagine by now. That's if the world ends in the next while, or I don't know how many years or whatever. But the way it's going, it's going to most likely be, this pandemic is most likely one part of it. Birth pangs. That's what Jesus said. When you see things like that, it's the birth pangs of the end of the age. Yeah. Well, I'll ask God to heal my family. I hope that'll happen, because Donna went out with such a hate and vindictiveness and stuff like that. I couldn't even believe. After being married for 46 years and then doing like just unbelievable to me. But anyway, that's what happened. I made a point of making sure that I told her I forgive her for everything. I went up to the hospital when she was in there with another heart attack and saw her, and I told her I forgive her, and she just sniffed at me, but I had to, whether I wanted to or not, it didn't matter. I had to do that. I think that's the way it is with forgiveness. Most of the time, people, you don't want to forgive people who've done stuff to you. That's pretty natural. But the thing is, you have to if you want God to forgive you. And I think it's an act. You just make sure you do it and leave the rest up to God. So that's all. I mean, you can't do anything else. You can only do that, what you can do, and leave the forgiveness up to God. That's going to be. Yeah. Well, tomorrow's Wednesday. Got a couple things going. I'm going to replace a well in the main pump out there at Desert Cove tomorrow. That's the one that runs all the time. And see how they come with their finishing and the subdivision on the roads and whatever. They got a fair bit of work to do yet. But that's what keeps me interested. And you know, I laugh. This one guy phoned in the office and was complaining. He said, "Who's this old guy that's driving around in this white car?" He said, "with a disabled sticker in the window and whatever. What's he doing looking at our house when he drives by?" I laughed. I thought, oh my God. Just thinking, I've been there. Started it 32 years ago. I'm still there 32 years later. And now it's going to end up with about 451 homes, 900 people. That's pretty good size, starting from nothing. Yeah, that's the size of some little towns. Bigger town than I came from. Hay Lakes had 236 people, I remember living there. But they had stores, a hotel, they had this and that, railroad station, blah, blah, blah. Hardware stores, garages. Not many people lived there. They were a service center for all the farming communities around. And they were too close to Edmonton maybe to be a big town. Now they're a bedroom community for Edmonton. They just get on Highway 21 and go into town and come back again. Yeah. Anyway, I kind of think that's enough today. My news is pretty tame anyway. Nothing too spectacular. Anyway, God bless and good night.